So here's the situation. I want to cut off just a centimeter from this side, and for that I cannot use this tool because it does not go to the left enough. It would cut somewhere there at the laser instead of 1 centimeter to this side. But that can be fixed if I cut from the other side. So in this case I have to insert it from the other side, and now this portion is even passing through that cutting line, so I can cut off exactly that 1 centimeter, like so. Now, since this is very thin material and it's not supported very well, now I have to manually lift this up, but the finger is very close, so be very careful. I will replace the blade to see how this works. So don't use it without that washer. Without washer is not good. The larger screw is on this side, the smaller is on the other side, and to the opposite, to the right. The ring and the blade. Also to the left, that way. So both of them are usable. That's the cut part, and both blades are good. There was more vibration here, and this is softer. Here it's moving. So for example, I want to cut off 2 centimeters from this wood, and for that I have to place this line exactly to the number 2, which is there. So this line where the cut is there has to be at my desired number. And now tighten the screw. I need 2 hands, I think, or maybe not. So from this edge to that line there are 2 centimeters. From here till the laser, 2 centimeters. By the way, here's an interesting thing. If you move this distance keeper all the way in, then you can cut it off. The blade enters exactly into this distance keeper. That distance keeper should not go past that number 0. It should stop there, but it's not stopping. It goes even more in. And it goes exactly to the blade. And when you're cutting a thin material, then take care, because this edge might not stop there, like so, but it can go below. Hold it with your hand there, or else it will go under. Okay, so I just cut these two by looking inside here. So you can see the blade there. As you can see, the blade is visible, and I could see even the line that I drew. But a light should be good somewhere here, because there's pretty dark inside there. You cannot see too much. You can see too much inside, but it has no lamp. The laser is pointing forward, but that's pretty useless when you want to see inside here. The laser is pointing forward, but the line is only here, so that's meaningless in front of you. So a light should be good here. And I could cut off this one by simply pushing it in. And luckily the width of this one, the diameter is pretty close to what I needed. And it's not perfect because you have to see where that blade is. So luckily you can see a little bit inside here, and you can do such a cut. So this opening here is pretty important, so that you can see what's below. You can see where the blade is cutting, and you can position it exactly there. Not all such machines have this opening. Many of them are blocked. So it's not perfect, it's not accurate. I could not get too close to the machine because of the camera, but on the other side I did better. So you can cut this and that, and then you can cut that one. So I had to cut off 10 centimeters from this end, that's the 10. But in order to cut off 10, I used this distance keeper. Here's the 10. That's the line for the cutting at the 10 centimeter. That line is not exactly here. So from this to that one we have 2 millimeters. You have to add this extra width to compensate for the loss that comes from the width of the cutting blade. I use this thinner blade which does not have those wide teeth. So I cut from the other side, and this edge is pretty perfect. Let's see the other side. And I cut on this side. The blade was rotating up, and of course this side is not as nice as the other one, so the side on which you are cutting, that will be uglier. You might think that this device is cutting here at this triangle, and where the laser is pointing at that triangle, right? Unfortunately wrong. It's cutting to the right of that triangle, around 2 millimeters to the right. So it's not cutting here at the top of this triangle here, but it's cutting at the right side of that triangle, down here. So not here, not in the center, but there to the right. There's the line where I want to cut, and one way to measure it is to expose the blade a little bit, let's say half a centimeter, and put it there and see if the blade is exactly at the line. It's roughly at that line. So in this way, by slightly exposing the blade, you can see where it will cut. Of course, this side is already fixed with a clamp, and then I can move along this edge. So between the laser and my line there are around 2 or even 3 millimeters, so the laser is kind of pointless. So here you can see the cut, and look where the laser is. The laser is to the left, The cut is to the right. It's not cutting at the laser. It's cutting at the right side of that triangle. I'm going to cut here, and for that I need to place this wood at exactly 3 centimeters distance. Okay, and then the blade will be exactly there on the right side of that line. Okay, so I just made a small cut, and yes, it's on the right side of my line. 3 centimeters are needed between this guiding wood and your line where you want to cut, and then place it there and cut. It was cut. This is the top part, and it's pretty ugly, but the lower side is pretty perfect.